Hey everybody, nice to see you. Well, this looks as good as any place to have a chat. Let's do that. First of all, perhaps most importantly, let's address the elephant in the room. The hat. You like it? Let me know. If you don't, well, keep that to yourself. So what are we up to today? Well, we're still pretty restricted right now as to what we can do outdoors. No camping, no fires allowed. So I'm just out for a hike in my local woods, and this is a nice spot to take a break. And there's lots of tags on YouTube right now in the outdoor community. And I thought I'd start one myself. Show us your Bannock. What's your favorite local charity? So why Bannock? Well, we're encouraged to stay home as much as possible right now. We're told not even to go to the grocery store if we don't have to. So that drives home the point that we need to have our pantry at home stocked with staple items like beans and rice, flour. So with flour and just a couple ingredients, you can make Bannock. And Bannock's really a survival food. You could survive on it for quite some time if you had to. It certainly has fed a lot of people over the years, trappers, homesteaders, people like that who needed to carry light items with them. So it's also a good thing to learn how to make Bannock. It's a life skill. It's a very simple bread, but it's satisfying. It's a good carbohydrate to keep you going. So we're going to make some Bannock today and talk about my favorite local charity. We'll get to that at the end. So what's going on in here? Well, a few simple dry ingredients. Bannock can be made with just flour, lard, salt, and water. That's all you really need. This one is a little bit healthier. I have 100% whole wheat flour. I have a teaspoon of baking powder. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. I also have some crushed walnuts, cranberries to add in there. And so far, that is it for the dry ingredients. You can also add foraged items. I saw something on the way in. Let's go grab it. The extremely rare lemon drop mushroom. Looks and tastes like a real lemon. So you really only want the very outer layer, called the zest. You can take that off with a knife, a sharp knife, anyway. As thin as you can. Avoid the white underneath it. That'll be a great addition to this Bannock. A bit of zest goes a long way. Let's get that in there. And quite often lard or butter is used. Like I said, I'm going a little bit healthy. Let's add a couple tablespoons of olive oil to the mixture. A fat component makes it tender. It tastes good. And we just mix that up. So once you're looking something like that, you can add a little bit of water, a little bit at a time, mix it up, just until the mixture is pulling itself away from the bowl. Don't add too much. So when you're done, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Came away clean from the sides of the pan, and we're ready to cook it. Love that sound. That's coming along nice. Keep it moving. I much prefer cooking this over a fire, as you can imagine. Trangia works well. So while that's cooking, we can chat. So we were not going to the grocery store very often, maybe every 2 weeks. And we didn't really need to go every 2 weeks even. We have a stock pantry. But you want to treat yourself to fresh items. Well, my wife and I were talking about what about people who don't have the means to stock a pantry. Some people live paycheck to paycheck, literally hand to mouth. They only have enough food to last the week, and when they get paid, they have to go get more. And a lot of these people, hardworking people, need to use the food banks, and food banks were really low at this time of year, with the pandemic especially. That's who I wanted to talk about. Our local food banks, they're very low. A lot of people were hit tough economically by the pandemic. They still need to use the food banks because they can't afford to feed their family. And kids are involved, right? You always feel for the kids. Most parents do the best they can for their kids, but it's just not always possible. So that's why food banks are important. So do it for the kids. At most of our local grocery stores, there's a bin when you leave, and you can put a non-perishable donation in the bin, and it goes directly to my local area, which is nice. That's how I do it. You can do it any way you want. That's a good thing to do. Food banks. You might need one day. You never know. Okay, it's time to see how we made out. Oh, it's still hot. I think we did okay. I think we did okay. So I have this jelly. It's a Pilsner beer jelly. Tracy's Niagara-on-the-Lake Pilsner beer jelly. And it's so good. It tastes exactly like beer. But it's sweet, of course. But it really works. Like, I'm surprised. It's so unique and it's delicious. It was a gift. Thanks, Cass. Okay, so now I need to tag 3 people. I'm going to tag Kevin from Phat Outdoors. Kevin's a good cook. He'll do an awesome bannock. Better than this one, probably. Looking forward to seeing your offering, Kevin, and what your local charity would be. As well, Bjorn, Andreas, Bull Hansen. He's an awesome YouTuber, author, historian, outdoorsman. He has 2 channels. One is called just Bjorn, but I'll link to his main channel. And I'd like to see what Bjorn will offer. He's a very good guy. Last but not least, this guy. Adam Romano Explores. I know Adam has a charity near and dear to his heart that he'd like to get the word out for. Adam, you're tagged. Make a bannock. I will link to all those channels. Oh, I'm going to add one more. Phat Outdoors. P-H-A-T Outdoors. I know you can get behind a bannock, my friend. I love watching him. I want to see some keto Cajun bannock. Anyway, I will link to all of those channels down below. Please go check them out. See what they do with the tag. I'm sure they'll all be awesome. They can tag a couple. And if I didn't tag you and you feel like doing the tag, go ahead and do it. It's always good to increase awareness, right? So everybody, thanks for spending the time with me. I appreciate it. As always, take care, be safe. See you on the next one. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.